healing from the love that almost broke your spirit. There are few wounds as deep as the ones carved by a love that failed us, not because we were weak, but because we were open. Not because we were naive, but because we were willing. When love disappoints, betrays, or collapses, it can feel as though the very ground beneath you shifts. Your confidence wavers, your hope dims, and the world feels heavier than before. Yet one truth remains. You can heal from the love that almost broke your spirit. And your healing is not just possible, it's powerful. Healing begins with honesty, the kind of honesty that strips away blame, silence, and the habit of pretending that it wasn't that bad. Pain ignored doesn't disappear, it only hides until it grows stronger. But pain acknowledged loses its power to control you. Healing starts the moment you pause long enough to say, "Something in me was hurt, and I'm allowed to tend to that hurt." For many people, the most difficult part of healing is letting go of the questions they never got answers to. You may never know why someone changed, why they didn't choose you, why they stopped trying, or why the love shifted into something unrecognizable. And while those answers may feel important, freedom doesn't come from receiving closure. It comes from choosing it. Closure is an internal decision, not an external gift. Another key part of healing is recognizing that your worth was never tied to how someone treated you. Love that damages your spirit is not a reflection of who you are. It is a reflection of where the other person was emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. People can only meet you at the level of their own healing. Some hearts are generous and whole, some are fractured and guarded. Some want connection but lack the capacity to sustain it. Their limits do not define your value. As you heal, give yourself permission to feel the full spectrum of emotions, not just sadness or disappointment, but anger, confusion, even relief. Healing is not a straight line, and it's not a graceful process. Some days you'll feel strong, other days you'll feel tender. Both are valid. Both are human. Both are part of the journey back to yourself. One powerful step in the healing process is learning to rebuild trust, not in other people, but in yourself. When love hurts, many people question their judgment. How did I miss the signs? Why did I stay? Why did I believe? But trust in yourself is not measured by whether you avoided pain. It is measured by whether you choose to keep growing after it. You made decisions with the knowledge, heart, and hope you had at the time. That is not failure, that is humanity. Healing also requires redefining love, not by the pain you experienced, but by the truth of what love should be. Love is not fear. Love is not emotional confusion. Love is not inconsistency dressed as passion. Love is not feeling small, unseen, or unworthy. Love, in its healthiest form, nourishes, expands, strengthens, and gently challenges you to rise into who you were meant to be. If what you experienced broke your spirit, then it wasn't love. It was attachment, illusion, trauma bonding, unmet expectations, or emotional instability. And recognizing that distinction is a form of liberation. As you continue healing, protect your spirit by setting boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates that decide what enters your emotional space and what must be kept out. You are not being hard to love. You are being intentional with your heart. You are honoring what you deserve. You are deciding that you will not become collateral damage in someone else's unhealed wounds. Another layer of healing comes from gratitude, not for the pain, but for the clarity. Pain teaches discernment. Disappointment teaches detachment. Loss teaches appreciation. And heartbreak, though brutal, often becomes the birthplace of deeper self-awareness, emotional maturity, and spiritual resilience. But gratitude should never rush the healing process. You do not have to be grateful while you are hurting. You do not need to be thankful for the lesson the moment the wound is fresh. Let your healing unfold gently. Let your heart breathe again before you ask it to be wise. As you find strength again, remember this: you are not hard to love. You just require the kind of love that matches your depth. Some people come into your life only long enough to show you what you don't want. Others come to teach you what you will never settle for again. A love that almost broke your spirit often becomes the very thing that shapes your standards, your boundaries, and your spiritual posture. Healing is also about reclaiming the parts of yourself that you lost while trying to hold on to someone who wasn't meant to stay. Maybe you lost your peace. Maybe you muted your voice. Maybe you lowered your standards. Maybe you abandoned your needs to keep someone else comfortable. Healing invites you to gather those pieces back, patiently, courageously, and without shame. And when you do, you will rise differently. You will love differently. You will choose differently. And you will walk differently, with more discernment, more confidence, and more self-respect. In time, your heart will open again, not because you forget the pain, but because you transform it. Healing doesn't erase your past, it expands your capacity to live a fuller, wiser, more grounded life. It helps you recognize genuine love when it arrives, the kind of love that doesn't shake your spirit, but strengthens it. Healing from the love that almost broke your spirit is to decide that your future deserves more than the shadow of your past. It is to rise without bitterness, remember without resentment, and move forward without fear. It is to honor yourself enough to say, "What hurt me will not define me." You deserve a love that is gentle yet firm, warm yet steady, passionate yet peaceful. A love that sits with you, chooses you, respects you, and nurtures you. A love that makes you feel safe in your own emotions and powerful in your own skin. But before any of that comes, you deserve your own love, your presence, your compassion, your patience, your forgiveness. When you learn to be at home within yourself, no disappointment can break you, and no loss can empty you. Healing from the love that almost broke your spirit is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a new chapter where you return to your worth, rebuild your confidence, and rise into your fullness. And when you rise, you won't rise the same. You'll rise stronger, wiser, clearer, and more committed than ever to the love that aligns with who you truly are. Not the version of you that was broken, but the version of you that finally understands your power.